James O'Connor is TikTok's viral MMA coach, creating engaging self-defense videos and inspiring millions to live their best life. Growing up in the American Midwest, James was bullied throughout middle school and struggled with self-confidence. He was small and didn't know how to speak up for himself. But then he found mixed martial arts, which changed his life forever. He got stronger both physically and emotionally, found a supportive community, and more importantly, he learned that growth comes through pain. He now encourages his over 300,000 followers to put in the work, chase the pain, and keep moving forward. Well, James, thank you for coming on the show today.
Super grateful.
I'm really excited to have you. You know, I found you as a gay young man. You posted this one video where you were flipping over some dude and it went viral in gay TikTok. And what I thought was so unique and what really resonated with me to you was where a lot of other people in your same situation might be very toxically masculine and be like, ew, gross, deleted the video. You posted another video welcoming your new gay community to your TikTok, which I felt so much joy from because of it's not a response we get every day. My question is though, what shaped you into being this viral, positive MMA coach, life coach, positive thinker?
So what shaped me was just 100% the martial arts. I think it's like the perfect, if you believe in self-help, it's like the perfect system if it's under the right person. There are some toxic people out there like anywhere, but the system itself is so perfect. It teaches humility. It squashes your ego. It builds comfort because confidence breeds comfort. People that are not comfortable, especially with the gay community, for example, other martial artists that may have been turned off by it, there's something missing inside them. They're insecure. They're still not confident enough to be comfortable with something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to me, it's just the martial arts is a perfect self-help tool.
I love it. So, you know, let's go back to your childhood. How did you get into MMA to begin with?
Yeah, origin story. I was picked on horribly. I was bullied. It was 6th grade. I stood up to a bully. Didn't work. Okay. My mom told me to stand up to bullies. Don't let them push you around. I got pushed. I stood up to him. Instead, he went ahead and bullied me the rest of the year with his friends. I had no tools. I didn't know how to defend myself physically. And it was really bad. So it got to the point where I was lying to my mom saying I was sick, to skip school. I remember walking down hallways and seeing him and having to go the other way, just this fear. So she said, you know, enough is enough, threw me into a martial arts class. And the rest is history. I found my purpose at 12 years old. You know, it was just absolutely amazing.
Well, what I find so interesting about you, and we had a conversation before this to plan this interview, you talked about this idea of chasing the pain and seeking out discomfort because that's when you're most likely to grow. And how in your young childhood, the bullies bullying you. And instead of you going into a shell or instead of you hiding, you sought after the pain. Can you explain that a little bit more for us?
Yeah, so, you know, when I look at myself, and we kind of talked about this, what I see in the mirror sometimes I feel like isn't even true. Because who I really was as a younger child, I was a soft, not pain-seeking kid. I couldn't run around like a high school track, a quarter mile. I couldn't make it one time without giving up. Because as soon as I felt the pain, I would just stop. I was just so weak. And for some reason, the martial arts, when I got into it, 100% my instructor too, he was real positive. But I found it was like, I came early, I stayed late, I endured the pain of, it wasn't just harsh, you know, knuckle beating, but staying there and going through the practice and developing the skill, that pain of going through and developing a skill, it made me rise quickly and gave me so much confidence that I just linked in my head was like, pain, good, pain, good.
Well, I relate to that myself too. You know, when I was younger, I was very, morbidly obese as a child, you know what I'm saying? I was bullied. I don't know, were you taller or shorter than your bullies?
Well, they were older, so I was definitely shorter.
Shorter. So like for me, I was the opposite. I was this big, tall guy, and people could frame me into doing whatever they wanted, and the teachers just believed them. And then I was attracted to all the guys too, you know what I'm saying? So I just let them do it. But the point is this. I know that feeling of being helpless, of being weak. Then I did this transition of losing weight, and I didn't so much have an eating disorder or a disorder, but it was just, I was so focused on being thin and not being heavy, you know, that I would put myself into situations that weren't healthy on the opposite scale of, you know, not eating. And then now I feel that I've had this full circle of, for me it was fitness and exercise and weightlifting. For other people it's MMA, that I built my confidence, and now when I walk into a room, do I look like, you know, a model today? No. But I'm confident in what I am, you know what I'm saying? And so what I just love about you is that you are inspiring kids, really. Can you talk about, to us really quick, of when you look back on your life, all right? Today, you're a hero for me. You're a hero for so many individuals on TikTok watching. Who was your hero, and what advice did they give you?
So my dad died when I was 16. I lost him early, and he was older. So my father figure was really my martial arts instructor. That's who I kind of clung to. And I would have to say through my development it was him, because he was always positive. I would never catch him swearing, being upset. He never had anger in him, but he was also this really powerful man, and he helped shape me throughout that process of teaching me to be a black belt instructor. And it was all just 100% mindset. I was like so attracted to that mindset.
I interrupt this program to remind you to like this video and subscribe with push notifications on.
Okay, so really quick, you had discussed that a few years back your mother got sick and she passed away. And what I found was so touching was specifically what she told you, one of the last things. Can you go ahead and share that story with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, my origin story would be all about chasing the pain. Like that was the first part of my life when I found my purpose. And then later, as a 38-year-old man, my mom was super sick. She went to the hospital. What I didn't tell you, it was so strange. The day my daughter was born, I was in the hospital holding her. And I get a call on my phone from the hospital. And I answer saying my mother is in the hospital downstairs in the ICU. I hadn't talked to my mom for about 9 months. We had a falling out. Sometimes this happens. And but I raced downstairs. I said, oh, my God, gave the baby over to my wife, ran downstairs. And there's my mom. And they say she's not going to make it through the night. And I'm like, how is it, Lord, if you're there, how is this possible? I just had a baby born, and now the same night, my mom I may end up losing, and I didn't talk to her for 9 months. You know what I mean? She was comatose. So she pulled out of it, but that was like the beginning of the end for her. She was in and out of the hospital until she was stuck in there. Tracheotomy, couldn't talk, couldn't eat, couldn't drink, super miserable. We would communicate with just mouthing things. She would just mouth to me. And I said, as a 38-year-old man, I sat there by my mom's bedside, and I knew this is the end. And I kind of, in my head, I know what she's going to say, or I think I know. And I asked her, I'm like, Mom, I'm holding her hand. I said, I'm still lost in life. I'm doing the best I can. What can you tell me? What should I do with it? What do I do from here? And we both know I'm losing her soon. And she just mouths to me, keep moving forward. And at the time, I was like, I thought you were going to tell me to be happy. I thought you were going to say, be happy, Jimmy, because she called me Jimmy. And it wasn't. She told me, keep moving forward. And I took that to heart. And so for the rest of my life, there is no being content. There's no static. It's all about growth. I'm moving forward. Even if I don't feel like I'm progressing, like often most of us do. We've all been stuck somewhere. Diet, exercise, finances, but there's always progress to be made.
So what I found really interesting is circling back to that chase the pain and growth coming from hard times and challenges. Taking into account what your mom said, which was to keep moving forward. We discussed earlier was the challenges that our younger generations are facing, my generation and below, that older generations didn't have to deal with. This idea of everything kind of being there at our fingertips, right? Not having to work as hard for the little things, and therefore, when larger opportunities come up, we're almost many times lost at what to pursue. What is our passion? What do we, how do we deal with conflict? And when we have to work for something and chase that pain, we're not conditioned for it. Can you tell us what your experience has been in words of advice to us younger generations looking to be successful like yourself, and what we can do to chase that pain?
Yeah, 100%. So I would do these little talks with Junior Achievement. They were local schools, but a little bit more urban, okay? I live in sort of a suburb. We live in a great bubble here. We don't face that many hardships. So just 100% honesty, right? A lot of privilege here. And then I would go to these schools and I said, here's the blueprint for your life. This is my belief. The first part of your life needs to be about finding your purpose. This doesn't mean you don't get to be a janitor. You may have to work fast food. You may have to do things you don't want, but you need to find your purpose. The second part of your life, you're going to start developing leadership abilities. And what does that mean? Maybe you're not going to have 1,000 followers. Maybe it's 1 follower, but you need to develop into being a leader, whatever that means. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, dad. You're developing leadership abilities to get your kids to be members of society that are productive. So the second part is all about leadership. You're going to develop your leader inside you. And the third part, baby, it's legacy. This is what when you're gone, when you're done on this earth, what are you leaving behind? And to me, I look at my whole life that way. And I feel like more people really need to find, I know 40 and 50-year-olds that haven't found their purpose. They're not even searching, but it's there. That's going to be a life of fulfillment, and that's going to help you leave your legacy.
You know, one thing that I preach on this show is the idea of not having a purpose. And I think that my version of saying not having a purpose and your version of having a purpose are the same thing. And what we're saying is this, is that it's not about that end goal of what we're going to achieve. It's about this journey, right? And so for you, you're saying if you can wake up every day and be fulfilled in what you're doing, same as me. It doesn't necessarily have to mean you gotta have this grand plan. Oh, I'm gonna win an Emmy. Well, if your whole life is seeking on just getting the Emmy, when you don't get the Emmy, or if you don't get the Emmy, most people don't get Emmys, you're very disappointed. I think that's exactly, we're on the same page, and I love it. My question for you, James, is what message do you want to leave with the world?
I would go back to chasing that pain. I think you have to be uncomfortable, whatever that means. You don't have to be a marathon runner necessarily, but you have to struggle. If you're not struggling, you're not going to be happy. Think of people that are depressed. It's clinical. Sometimes, it's just, they can't get out of it. I'm not saying this for everybody. However, many people that I know that are sad and depressed and they get in this spiral, this funk, they're not chasing any pain. They're not going after anything.
Yeah, they're not
and
challenged.
Right. And again, I don't want to sound like I don't empathize, sympathize with people that are in that position. It's awful, right? But this could be a solution. If there was a solution, this could absolutely be a solution. The people that I know that go out and do run a marathon or do chase that pain, they have this euphoria when they're done.
I just want to put out there, for some people it's not running a marathon. For me, example, I'm probably not running a marathon. But for me, I wanted to see what it was like to make a talk show in my parents' basement, so we did it. It took 7 months, a couple $1,000s, but we did it, you know what I mean? For somebody else that might be writing a book, it might be posting their first TikTok, it might be getting their first job, or getting a new job because they don't like the one they're currently at. Whatever it is, there's going to be a moment in time where it's uncomfortable because it's new and it's scary and it's uncertain and you don't know the outcome. But by chasing the pain and pushing yourself, that's what's going to bring fulfillment. Yes?
Struggle, baby. You know it.
Wonderful. All right, I just have some side questions for you here. So you did MMA. Did you ever compete in MMA?
Yes, 12 times.
Ooh, 12 times. Were you good?
I had a winning record, got 3 knockouts with head kicks.
Oh, that's pretty good. Now, just yesterday we had this big fight between Mayweather and somebody else. Okay, my question is this, I was listening to Logan Paul, don't punch me, okay? And he was talking about the shin being demolished in midair and how that can be a career-ending injury. Will we see McGregor come back from this?
I don't, yes, he could physically come back, 100%. I wonder about his mindset.
Because I woke up today and I just saw, literally, there was a leg, and then I'm not even putting the photo up here. In the next moment, there was no leg. It was just no leg. It was just like falling back. Like, how do you come back from that? That's my concern. All right, James, where can we find you?
I'm every social media, so look up Team James O'Connor. That's where I am on most social medias.
Thank you, James, for coming on.
You're the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Coming up on Timo After Hours. Jared Cox is TikTok's nude chef, making deliciously viral cooking videos while only wearing an apron. And the behind-the-scenes story is even cuter than its on-screen host. Jared co-created the Nude Eats account alongside his older sister, Annalise, who's a marketing professional. While sitting around a Thanksgiving table during the height of the COVID pandemic, they got the idea to combine Jared's love of cooking and smoking hot bod with Annalise's marketing mind, and bam, Nude Eats was born. While they're not perfect and the occasional sibling kerfuffle occurs from time to time, the two now work together to create inspiring food content for their tens of thousands of followers. They've created a viral recipe combining pasta and bulging biceps, encouraging their fans to have fun in the kitchen. All this and more on the next Timo After Hours. Click the green box to see my latest video where I interviewed this awesome queer couple named August and Sid, blue to subscribe, and pink to see my full series playlist. I'm your boy Timo. Until next time, keep your smile side up.